Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ray, and we are here to jump into episode 3 of the second season of Arcane. Okay. All right. So last episode, we got the aftermath of the events of the first season, but from Jinx's point of view. First episode, we spent with the council members who were left, and primarily with Vi and Kate, Kate becoming more, digging deep into her cop mentality, decided to, go even harder on the Undercity, the people of the Undercity, the oppressed people of the Undercity. All of this, of course, being driven by the attack on the memorial, which definitely Jinx had nothing to do with. Just saying that right now. But what we found out last episode is that she was actually just mostly living in her grief from the death of what is his name? It is Silco. She was just, dealing with her grief from losing Silco. Sapphic also was doing the same, like just living in that, those feelings of loss and pain. And they found some way to come together, actually, after the other Undercity bosses tried to basically, it was a power grab with Silco out of the way. So they decided to try and, run up on Jinx and hand her over to the topsiders, and didn't end well for that one guy, like in his crew. So now Sapphic and Jinx are teamed up together. Sapphic has a new arm built by Jinx. It was really cute and funny. It was so her. It was such a such a Jinx type of, build. I loved it. And now they're going to, I guess, try and do the same thing that Vander did, that Silco did, which is unite the Undercity. And in the wake of Silco's death and the, power vacuum that left, they're going to try and fill that void. But of course, like I mentioned earlier, Kate is now on a warpath, quite literally, and has decided, and Vi has, for whatever reason, decided to become a cop. And now they're invading the Undercity. They appear to be gassing people, or gassing the whole Undercity, letting the toxic gas, fill the streets as they use the gas as cover for their, police operations. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, it's all bad and it's all terrible. Meanwhile, Victor has become some kind of, mage Jesus. Coming to heal the Undercity. We'll see how that goes. Alright, let's just jump into this next episode. I'm ready.
Instructed our architects to devise a ventilation system. The people of the underground deserve to breathe.
Oh, so she had a plan. Pause! Because this is exactly what I said last episode. Was like, oh, with all of these inventions, nobody has invented a way to make it so that these people can breathe clean air. Apparently there was something. So instead of using it to make it so that they can breathe, she's filtering the poison fog into the city deliberately. Even more deliberately.
Everyone in my life has changed. Promise me you won't change.
It's already too late for that. Well, I guess not, because she was always a cop from the first season. So I guess not much has changed there. She's just more nakedly a cop now.
I won't.
Alright, famous last words. Because I feel like we are escalating. Like every episode so far this season has been an escalation. It's the way he's using shimmer, and they're all like, ugh, those undercity, riffraff. The undercity riffraff using shimmer. Trash. Ugh, let's kill them all with Hextech. Meanwhile, he's down here using shimmer in order to help with his legs or whatever. Like, to get high so he could forget his legs, whatever. Either way, he's out here doing the same shit he's condemning them for. Fuck out of here.
Down here.
Well, I do own the place.
It's enough work propping you up without you dulling what few wits are left rattling around in there. Never speak ill of my family.
What was he gonna say? That she wouldn't have been able to succeed
Why are you
without
here?
the Caramans? Like,
To sober you up.
Mission accomplished. Could smell it. Like a cat backed into a corner.
oop. And she's gone. Okay. So she's going to try and what? Oust Mel from the council. Pause. So Mbessa is in some kind of blood feud with Amara's people, who all appear to be mages or use magecraft, it appears. And so she's going to try and oust Mel from the council, I think. Perhaps even Mel and Caitlin. Take over using Salo, gain access to Hextech, which she can then use in her battle against Amara's people back in Noxus. Right? Am I keeping up there? And she's fine with ousting Mel from her seat because it makes her seem like it makes them seem like enemies, which will provide further protection for Mel from the feud that she's embroiled in. What happened? What caused that feud? Did she kill somebody? Did she kill some people? And she killed the wrong people, and they were out. Now they're out for revenge, and they're a whole bloodline kind of revenge people. They're hey, from your descendants, your descendants, and your descendants. Is that the kind of people they are? Okay. But it does mean that she is fomenting discord, and it's in her best interest to make things in Piltover even more dire, so that she can use the chaos to seize control of Hextech, which means she's all for Caitlin and her escapades down in the Undercity, escalating shit all over the place. Yeah.
Ruins. Most places the arcane is dormant, but here and there it's more active, and wild runes are
Sort of like its fingerprints.
exactly.
So you're telling me that pattern is on my tree because you pissed the arcane off with all your demands?
That's not what I.
Yeah, that's exactly what you were saying.
Something. Every action sparks a reaction.
So, them trying to control the arcane with runes that they made in technology, and all the traffic back and forth with the gates and all this stuff, every time they use Hextech, it's making the arcane, aka wild magic, more pissed off because you keep demanding shit from me. You know?
It's.
Do you think this could actually be a result of overuse of Hextech?
I've seen miracles spring from the hands of mages many times.
Is this the ruins of Zon here? Is that where we're going? I
Your source panned out.
wonder.
I've confirmed Salo met privately with members of several houses today.
I wonder if Piltover was founded in this place because of something to do with this area. And how maybe the wild magic here was actually either stronger or weaker. It's two options, right? It's either more abundant in this area, and so that's why all these strange things are happening and etc. Or it wasn't here as strongly, and then once they started to use hex tech, the Arcane came back to this area and started, working in this area, or moving in this area. Interesting.
I should have been first.
Okay.
I thought the gemstone mesh was installed above ground.
The mesh is above ground, but we weren't sure what would happen if the gate overloaded, so we installed a failsafe at the base.
So instead of it exploding in your neighborhood, it would blow up in ours.
We're miles from the main fissures.
These are the same utility ducts that carry our water and facilitate our ventilation. And that would explain it affecting the tree.
Inconceivable.
Wow.
You say we should feel like we're all
Don't touch that.
Emperor brands. We're the ones that get wet.
What the? Like, they really did. They built the base of the fucking Hextech gates in the slums. It's like that. It's like those power plants. It's like those power plants where all the runoff from them, and those factories where all the runoff from the factories go straight into poor neighborhoods. And they're like, no, we're totally away from there. Meanwhile, they're dumping poison into a river that's going straight to the drinking water for the town, half a mile off. Like, get the fuck out of here. We're not anywhere near the town. No, but you know that anything that you do here is going to run down to the town where people are fucking living.
Finally got the name right.
Oh, name of the
Guess
episode.
there really isn't a crack in the earth where you won't find me.
What is this place?
Poisoning our air. You've turned a leaf, sister.
I know, she turned into a
I'm
whole
done
cop.
blaming myself for your mistakes. Done pretending you're my sister. You're not.
A wild rune?
I have no idea what that is.
Possibly.
You walk along the edge of danger.
So they're using Hextech right now, pissing it off even more.
Why would you let this voice say?
Ooh. Not traps. She love a trap. Oh. Not shot off her finger. Fuck. Ooh. Not the Hextech cauterizing the wound immediately.
I'm ready.
That felt very dangerous.
What are you? Get off me.
Not shooting your own girlfriend. Like, this situation is already de-escalated. Let's all take a step back.
No, no, no.
What was the result of that? Like, it kind of looked like she just did like a, almost like a, oh God. I was gonna say a fireworks show, but like, she just painted, the top side in her colors. What was the ultimate she didn't blow up the top side. I thought what was going to happen after all the paint, and paint finished was that suddenly the gray was going to be, instead of poisoning just the Undercity, it was going to be topside as well, but it doesn't look like that. It looks like she just used the same ventilation system that was used to pump the gray away from the top side. She just used it to fill it with paint.
Kate.
You stopped me.
Yeah, because there was a fucking kid there.
I had the shot.
That was a kid.
You didn't have
What
the
if
shot.
you missed?
I wasn't going to miss. What's wrong with you? I keep telling myself that you're different. But you're not.
Different from what?
It's her blood in your veins.
Then why are you the one acting like her?
This is the second time that she has assaulted her girlfriend? Oh, no, that's the stuff from Noxus, right? What is happening? Am I alone in feeling like things have gone off the rails in this episode and I don't know what the hell is happening at all?
Thank you all for answering my summon.
You must declare martial law.
Not martial law.
Until this threat is vanquished.
The timeliness of this.
Degeneracy, whose conviction never wavers. A pillar of your community, whose house has always stood for progress.
Just gonna say
You
Kiraman.
may consider my experience.
Silo thinks it's gonna say her. She's gonna say her. But Mbessa is gonna say no, Kiraman. She's gonna say Caitlyn should lead us. He thinks it's gonna be him. It ain't.
And my entire detachment of Noxian soldiers at their disposal.
Well, I mean, she's primed to become a dictator, so.
Vengeance for your son.
Yeah, unsurprising. Not him going, no. This is a little bit too much for me. I'm okay with being a cop and gassing the Undercity, but declaring martial law is where I draw the line. Fuck out of here.
Your mother will have justice.
The manipulation, though. The open manipulation. Not her being not not Caitlyn being that. See, I thought Mbessa was gonna go. Well, she is going for power. Oh, hold on. Let me let this finish. Is this somebody in there that we know? So he's creating some kind of monster. Got it. Yeah. So, like I said, Caitlyn's primed because of whatever, her background, her cop mentality, all of it, primed to be okay with martial law. And she's being used by Mbessa, of course, who's doing all of this for her own agenda, her own goals. Really setting up her own, like Caitlyn's really okay with being basically a proxy dictator, being used by Mbessa. Ridiculous. Yeah, and that one guy, freaking ridiculous. Why did he think that Mbessa was in any way going to make him the de facto leader of the council. Ridiculous. All right, so what do we learn from this episode? There's a lot happening. This episode felt very chaotic, and not necessarily in a good way. I felt like we were getting tossed a lot of information that I wish had been spread out a little bit. We had everything that happened with Noxus come up, and there's some kind of, I don't know, mage network happening over there. That's a blood feud between them and Mbessa and her family, the Medarda family, it looks like. Apparently Mel just got Alora's fucking dead, and now Mel was, I don't know, captured, taken, transported. I don't know what's happening, but she's not here to do anything to stop any of this martial law business. We have that was very confusing because we don't have a lot of answers there, so there's just a lot happening there that we can't understand, because it almost feels like that's coming from a completely, I mean, it is, I don't want to say it feels like, it is, it's coming from a completely different storyline that's been happening somewhere else that we have absolutely no insight into. So we have no context for anything that's happening with Mbessa and her feud and her relationship with Mel, other than she's trying to have her cake and eat it too. She wants to win this feud, also get power for her soldiers, also use Piltover for her own goal. And so all of that is every action that she makes, as Mel mentioned, is out of desperation. And so in that desperation is causing her, and everybody else is paying the price for her desperation. And she's fomenting all the discord in Piltover, and none of the people in Piltover can see that because they're so focused on their own goals and their own agenda, you know? Yeah, it was a complete, you know, completely obvious that she was the one that attacked the memorial. And somehow, you know, found out the information about the woman, I'm sorry, I don't know her name, and what happened with her son, and, you know, caused all that to happen, and then betrayed her and killed her to cover it up. And now she's doing the same thing because she doesn't care about Piltover. She quite literally does not give a fuck about Piltover. So she doesn't care if they implode, if they cannibalize themselves, whatever, as long as she gets what she wants. What we did learn was that she's lost most of her power because of this feud. And she's losing it, which is why she's so desperate right now. So maybe all of the soldiers that she has right now in Piltover is all she has left. Like, she quite literally has nothing but this. So maybe she's trying to, maybe she's never going to want to leave Piltover. Maybe she just wants to set it up so that she can then take over and then start using Piltover soldiers and enforcers, etc., as part of her own empire. Maybe the goal isn't just Hextech. It's like quite literally to take control of this whole city and then take control of the Hextech factories. She doesn't want to just start, you know, open up the city to the idea of selling Hextech weapons. She wants to take the whole factory. The factory that we now know, we just learned in this episode, was built so that anything that went wrong would blow back on the Undercity instead of the Topsiders. Like, how did Victor allow that build to happen? How did that pass by Victor's, you know, scrutiny? Because his whole thing was protecting the Undercity. Did he think that being a few miles off from the Undercity meant that they wouldn't be impacted if that place were to explode or if something were to go wrong with that big ass tunnel down into the earth? How did he miss that that was right where the ventilation shafts all happened to be? And that, in fact, it would negatively impact the Undercity. Like, how did he miss that? Or is he so far removed from the Undercity that it wasn't a concern for him anymore? Or that he didn't think it through? And he was, maybe it was desperation for him as well, that he ignored some of the potential consequences for the idea of a quick and immediate, you know, resolution to what he thinks ails the city. Which, you know, leads back to, you know, Hummerdinger. I think that's his name. It's not his name. I think it's something close to that, but you know who I mean. It leads back to his caution in the first season saying, hey, let's not get too ahead on this technology. Let's wait. Let's test it. Let's observe it for a lot of time. Cautiously, slowly, so that we can hopefully minimize and mitigate some of the consequences from this. And now we're seeing what rushing got us, which is the wild magic, the wild arcane is semi-sentient and is pissed off at all this hex tech making demands of it in a controlled way that is not congruent with the kind of wild, open, free use of the arcane. Perhaps that's it. So constraining it in weapons and in tools and technology causes it to have randomized, chaotic kind of reactions. What do we think the imagery that happened in the core meant? The whole, like, where they you know, saw themselves stretched out and all of the eyes and stuff and the weirdness there. Was it just weird random shit? Or does it have a more concrete agenda? Is it not really sentient? It's just... Maybe sentience is too strong of a word. Maybe it's more... it's more like a wild animal, where it has the ability to think and has instinct, but isn't necessarily, you know, sapient. And so all of this is just it lashing out. But what did that mean? And what does it mean for people using hex tech? Because we had the whole battle scene, and then because of what was happening in the core miles off, suddenly all the hex tech weapons started, you know, having a reaction. What did that mean? Did it just mean that they malfunction? Or were they about to explode? Did something alter them? Jinx got her finger cut off, and then there was like hex energy, arcane energy all over her finger, semi-cauterizing the wound, it seemed like. What did that mean? Is it going to actually alter Jinx even further? She's already been altered multiple times, including by Shimmer. Why not alter her with the arcane? Continue her evolution. Speaking of evolution, this showdown between Jinx and Vi and the change in their relationship. It was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting watching Jinx talk about, you know, the way that Vi has chosen to use enforcer tactics in order to stop her. It's interesting. It's interesting when you think of it in comparison to the way Vi is thinking, oh, Jinx changed and she's now unrecognizable, but she won't acknowledge her own changes, her own decisions. And it's like, yeah, she shouldn't take responsibility necessarily for Jinx's own actions, because Jinx is an adult now. They both are adults. But at the same time, you should take accountability for your actions. Like, there were other ways you could have handled this other than becoming a cop. Just saying. You know, that wasn't your only recourse. And you were also gung-ho and totally accepting them pumping more of the gray into the streets. We did that to clear the streets. All right. Yeah. I don't know. That excuse feels so hollow to me because it's like, you know what the gray is. Like, you're actually more responsible, in my opinion, because you know what the gray is and how it affects people, and you willingly pump that into the streets to cover up your police actions. Ew. Nasty, actually. Like, it's nasty on these other cops' fault, but like on their, you know, their actions are also still nasty, but somehow hers are nastier because she knows what that means. She knows what the gray means. She breathed that in daily. You know? I don't know. It's something even ickier about, you know, Vi being a part of that, and then trying to have some kind of moral high ground with Jinx after. Like, that's what's kind of pissing me off, is that, like, you can't have a moral high ground after you pump the streets full of the gray. It's bad. It's just bad. Yeah. But she's not wrong. Jinx has made a lot of choices that have escalated things. Like, everybody is making choices. Everybody is making choices that unfortunately are escalating things left and right. And while there's a part of me that thinks that this is just quite frankly, Piltover is just due for a revolution. And martial law is just going to escalate even further. Like, the desperation of the people of the Undercity, it's going to make things worse. I don't know what the solution is. Like, certainly there's no solution that's going to happen in which both sides get to stay the same. Like, maintaining the status quo is not the answer. You know, somebody's just going to have to lose here. You know? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what, if I was just a regular citizen living in either the Undercity or topside, I'd be moving. Because this shit is about to go to hell in a handbasket. Like, I'm just taking a 6-month vacation to another city, and I'll see how it shakes out from afar. Because what? Everything is so crazy right now. Like, and now we have martial law. I mentioned earlier because as I'm filming this is literally a few days after the South Korean president tried to declare martial law in South Korea. And the people like rose up and started protesting in the streets. That's why like the whole martial law thing like just took me aback, and I was like, timely. So as of I want to say yesterday, as of yesterday, no, it was this morning. As of this morning, the people citizens in South Korea have been protesting, and I think they still are technically, but this morning the impeachment was signed or whatever, was passed by the city leaders, the country's leaders. So so they finally pushed for impeachment with the South Korean president. That's why it's so timely right now. It's because it was all over the news, how ridiculous it was to watch this man try and attempt basically a power coup and declare martial law and set himself up as a dictator. Like, that was his goal. You know, we all know that. Whatever he was saying, trying to say, I'm just preventing the other side from doing this, that, and the other with North Korea. It's like, no, that was some bullshit. You were trying to set yourself up as a dictator. Everybody knows, especially the Korean citizens who already experienced this in the 80s. Come on. So, that's exactly what's happening here. Zembessa is basically trying to set herself up as a dictator and as the new ruler of Piltover. And she's using Caitlyn as her front man, you know, her proxy dictator, so that she can then seize control of Hextech. And Caitlyn's going along with it because she's all in her dictator bag after beating up her girlfriend. I'm sorry, that was crazy. She shot her in the hand to try and make her move so that she can shoot through a kid at Jinx. That happened. And then when Vi stopped that from happening, later, she hit her in the stomach? Crazy. Oh, I thought you were different from, I thought you were different. Different from what? Not like one of those others, huh? That's like one of those people who say some shit to you, like when, whatever minority you might be, but they'll say some shit like, you're not like those others, as if somehow you're one of the good ones. Like that racist ass shit that people say sometimes. I can't believe she said that. But yeah, at the same time, I absolutely can believe it. Because she has multiple times said some real sus shit to Vi. That was so, classist and prejudiced. Like, ridiculous. Actually, I'm not surprised that she said that. Ridiculous. Anyway, everything is escalating. Everything is terrible. People are making choices for their own benefit. And the result is everything is kind of fucking screwed. And we don't know what the hell is going on with the Arcane. And now we're about to see whatever the hell is happening with this wolf creature the scientist is creating. He was fondling some kind of, clock, whatever. I'm assuming that there's a picture in there that we're eventually going to see. And we're going to find out that he's doing all this for his own agenda as well. But I don't know what his end goal is. Is he going to set loose this monster on the city? What does he want? What end result does he want? Does he want the end of Topside? Does he want the end of the Undercity? Does he want the end of both? All of Piltover? What is his end goal? I don't know. But I'm sure we're going to find out. Anyway, this was a bit of an episode that was all over the place. There was a lot happening here. So I guess we're going into the next arc. Because obviously Arcane is set up so that the story arcs happen in threes. So this was the end of episode 3. End of the beginning. Beginning of the end for the rest of it. So we're going into the second act of season 2 of the Arcane. Caitlyn has basically been set up as a proxy dictator. Her and Mbessa declaring martial law, and they're about to escalate everything that's happening in the war against the Undercity. And Jinx obviously is going to escalate. It's probably going to be honest, it's probably going to bring all of the people in the Undercity together, the nation of Zon. And they're going to, I think, obviously going to fight back against the martial law. And so, we're headed to a war. All for selfish means. All because some people want to stay in power. Tough. All right, I think that's everything I want to say for this episode. We'll go ahead and leave it there. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Go over to Patreon if you're interested in full length of this show as well as early access. You'll get full length early access of other shows that I'm watching. Primarily, I watch, queer Asian dramas, and mostly queer Asian dramas, and the occasional sci-fi fantasy show. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, come on over. If not, stay right here, because I'm releasing another one next week. I'll see you guys then. Bye.
forever. All this ever, but you long gone, it don't matter.